Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John, and our ongoing discussion of the Shakeout Indicator in Part 4 continues. Today we'll be discussing tops, bottoms, the end of the world, whatever you want to refer to it as when you are being thrown a bone and fall for market makers pushing price higher only to pull the rug out from underneath you. And we go to this period is the end of 09 into 2010, and we ended up with the Shakeout Indicator making slightly lower high, establishing for us a benchmark at which price needs to be either moving lower at this particular point, and if it's moving higher, it's clearly divergent, and we want to be thinking about exiting the market at this particular point. And sure enough, it takes a few days, and price does in fact decline, and decline dramatically below the red line on the extreme histogram. And so we know that any buy signals we get here are going to be short-lived. So we want to be thinking short-term profit takers at this particular point, and in this case we knew that we were going to be looking for a retest of the low in order to make those long moves. So how do we know when it's time to get back into the market? Well, we get this nice little rise, but what does it do? It just comes up to the down line of the trend. And so we can expect that because that started to roll over that we're going to be making another leg lower. But lo and behold, we dip down, get another buy signal, and market takes off above that signal, giving us new lease on life and an indication that the trend could continue. But what we start to get is we've broken out now into new highs. We ended up with extreme moves on the histogram, and we got to the sell signal line, which is right up here at this purple color. And so it's time to be thinking, oh no, another leg lower. But the market pretty much holds on here and now starts to make some divergences to the upside. And this is where it gets very interesting, because now we've created a whole other set of trend lines, and we actually develop a channel here from this trend all the way back and the upper trend right here. Now, where price is divergent to it, but right now we know that as we dip below this point, big players are selling into any increases in price, and if they've got a large position unwind, it takes a little while. But when it happens, it's going to be ugly, it's going to be swift, and a lot of people are going to hurt from it. And sure enough, it didn't take long, but in mid-May, it just pretty much wiped everyone out as we moved all the way from that upper trend divergence straight down below into the overall downtrend line that it established before. And so the pain that originates from these kinds of moves strictly comes from people not recognizing when a divergence exists and not being able to see the warning signs. And clearly they were pointed out well in advance and for long duration. So shakeout, while it can be very quick short moves for us, also can give us a broad range on that trend view. And in this particular case, the flash crash, we can see that with the shakeout this far into the negative, once we go below negative 12, you've lost pretty much the support of large funds, and that leaves you just traders who are going to be just making quick spikes, looking for short-term profits. And it's once you get back above the negative trend line that you have some semblance that perhaps you can start to look for moves on rolls that will be buy signals, and you just wait for the next move above this downtrend line. And you can see here that it just doesn't happen for quite some time. I mean, you're looking at several months here that we've stayed between this channel range, and it's not until we get into late July that you finally break that move and have established the downtrend line from before the flash crash to a new support line, and that becomes the new level at which you look for price to maintain above, that you can trade above and beyond. And we utilized this at Trade the MBI quite successfully when it was taking place. And it wasn't until late of August, that point, where we made a new low, and then came across a few days after the MBI. We broke above it, and I declared to everyone at that particular time that we were looking for, well, it was a 100-plus point move is what the projections were, and you can clearly see that price did in fact take off and did exactly what we were looking for. And then it just reestablished for us a whole new set of boundaries as we were coming back up above, and we formed two peaks top zone right there, and that was the beginning of the next cycle. And really what we were able to show with this is that the shakeout can give us broader range time views, as well as trend not related to price, but showing us when price is doing something that is not accurate to what is going on behind the scenes. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an indication. I think we'll probably show a couple more of those as we move into well, the near end time, and we start to talk about some of the other little nuances with the indicator and some of these deep lines, the blue and the brown, where we can get a little bit broader range of trend over a greater time period.